I'm Kamal Angelo Bolden, and I'm in the Tennessee Repertory Theater's production of Glengarry Glen, playing the role of Balin. Well, David Mamet has constructed a very witty, very dark, humorous, and very, very complex play, basically that deals with a man's job and his worth. If you remember anything about The Death of a Salesman, there's a Willie Loman character in there that has the American dream that he's always chasing for. He's always trying to get his piece of a pie, and that piece of the pie is basically what he works for at his job, and he's always trying to get that slice. Whatever he thinks success is basically deemed upon what a man does at his job. So you have this real estate office where about 4 guys working, and they have an office manager that's a younger guy than the other 4 employees, and they sell plots of land to customers. As you can tell, that's kind of seedy in itself, but they sell plots of land, and there's a lot of kind of, how can I say it, there's finagling that goes on to selling plots of land. Well, these guys compete for money. That's how they make their money. They get commissions. And so Mamet basically kind of gives us an inside look at this type of profession of being a salesman. The same way The Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller kind of gave us a look into how a man perceives himself in the world by what he does on his job. You get the same thing with these 4 guys. And so it's a really, really cool play about basically these guys always out there trying to make more money, and the competition that arises from it, and then some of the ethical concerns that arise from trying to make more money. And that's why the play is very, very relevant today after, we have the Bernie Madoff, we have the Ponzi schemes, and even more than that, the things that don't make CNN.com that take place at rental car agencies like I've worked at. Different little ethical things where we do to trick customers into basically buying something that they really don't need, which is what you may call marketing. And basically Mamet has some really cool dialogue between these guys and how they achieve that. My character Balin is the detective that investigates the robbery of the office that these 4 gentlemen work in with the sales manager Williamson. I kind of look at my character Balin as the agitator. You already have a robbery, you already have tensions flaring, you already have a lot of aggression, you have people throwing the blame here, there's suspicion. My character basically is put into play by Mamet to make things worse as they go on. As these characters are trying to figure out what they're going to do for the rest of the day, what they're going to do with their careers, what they're going to do with their lives, my character as the detective is just coming in to stir up the pot a little bit more each and every time. So when things get more confusing and all the farcical stuff happens and different things, I'm thrown in there to spin it up even a little bit more, to mix it up some more. So basically I walk into the robbery knowing that it's an inside job. I interrogate the employees of the office as if I know one of them did it. In my head, as the character Balin, Balin believes that they are all guilty until proven innocent, rather than the other way around. So he really pushes buttons, and that leads to more of the conflict throughout the story. Being the rookie, this is my first show, it's everything that I expected and more. Honestly, to get paid to do something that you love to do is always a great thing. It's very fulfilling and rewarding. You get a lot of intrinsic value from that. But working with Renee Copeland has been an even more special experience, to say the least. Is that her style of directing allows so much flexibility, but at the same time she's guiding that flexibility at all times. So whereas she'll allow your character to breathe and you to create some things, she'll also give you suggestions that are so on the money. They're so pinpointed that once she asks it or puts it a certain way, then there's no need for discussion after that. And I've worked with her husband at the Nashville Children's Theater, and the 2 of them, I would love to get the both of them at one set, because they are directing geniuses. As far as the cast goes, working with this cast has been a dream come true. I call it my free MBA, MFA, not MBA. I've kind of got an MBA in this too, but in MFA, my Master's of Fine Arts in Acting, because watching David Alford and Henry Haggard, David Compton, Eric D. Pasto Crosby, and Brian Webb Russell, and Chris Strand do their thing, you get to see them take it from the page to the characters that you see every night. And that has been so much knowledge in itself that I could write a book on. Just watching them. Whenever I'm not up and performing in rehearsals, I'm just steadily watching them transform themselves from what was on the page, which is very confusing by Mamet. Punctuations and pauses and different things that Renee Copeland has stamped into our heads to get right, because it informs our character so much that you've seen them take this language, this very poetic and rhythmic language and natural conversation that Mamet has constructed. You see them breathe life into it in such a professional and such an astounding way that I feel like I'm with world-class talent, plain and simple. If anybody was to come to this theater, if they had any premonitions about theater in Nashville, about it not being as good as Broadway, that would totally be erased once they seen this show. So, to say the least, my experience here doing Glengarry Glen, one of my favorite plays from one of my favorite playwrights, and doing it with this cast and this director has been definitely a blessing. It's been a dream come true. So I hope to do it again, hope to work with these guys again, and definitely with Renee Copeland. The Rep is putting on world-class theater here. I mean, they're putting on Broadway level plays here. Like I said, the people that are involved in this process, everyone from the stage manager David Wilkerson to Renee Copeland to the set, the costumes, especially George Hoff with the set and the way he can work Hulk. All of this stuff adds up into a brilliant production that you won't find in many other places. So I would definitely support the Tennessee Rep, regardless if you're from Tennessee or not. If you're watching this from somewhere like Seattle or something, get a plane ticket. We have Southwest here. You can fly in cheap. You got to see some Tennessee Rep productions, especially Glengarry, before it's over with, because it's truly a very special production. I'm just enthralled by the stuff that I've seen on stage that I didn't know or I have not seen in my young career. So I'm just lucky enough to be able to work with these talented people.